Hey everyone. I thought while I had a minute, I would answer an email I got. There's several more I need to get to, and I'm sorry, but I will as soon as I can. Okay, witches and partners. The reason I chose this, I just said partners because nowadays there's so much diversity that it's just easier to say partner. Um, the question was, in a nutshell, do I think that witches are better off with another witch as their partner, or basically having relationships with somebody that is not in the craft? Um, that's not exactly how they put it, but it's close enough. You get the gist of the question. Okay, I think I've kind of touched on this in my other videos. It doesn't necessarily mean that you have to have somebody that's a partner that is of the same path. Um, I will say it's probably easier. You don't have all the back and forth and maybe the arguing and the confusion that comes along per se if you have one's a Christian and one's a witch. That's probably not going to work. It might for some. I know that it has. How I don't know, but um, it does. It's not usually a good idea. Now, if you have somebody per se that's an atheist, um, they're probably just going to look at you like, "Well, you dummy, what? Who are you talking to? There's nobody there," uh, something like that. But I think it's better to have one that's of the same path because you can do things together. Uh, it's not. It doesn't separate you two. You see what I'm saying? Um, I would love it, if I had an actual partner that I could do spells with and incantations and rituals and stuff like that. I mean, that would just be one major thing that you have in common. Um, but I mean, I guess if the other one is willing to uh, live and let live, I guess you could say. Um, if they say, "Well, I don't believe the way you believe," and but that's okay, you do how you want. Um, I guess however you want to do it. It just depends on the individual. It's not even a stereotype between which religion they are. It's each person individually, how they perceive things, how they do things, blah blah blah. Now, where the issue might arise is if you have children together and each one of you have a different way of thinking of how your children should be raised. Which y'all know my stance on that. I'll just reiterate that I believe that the children have the right to make up their own minds. I think they should be exposed to many different paths and religions and then let them choose when they get old enough to be able to do so. I don't believe in pushing things down their throats and making them follow a path that in the long run they don't fit on. They don't walk well on, and you're completely taking away their choice. Um, and whichever path they choose, it should be accepted by everyone in the family. But that's the only way, that I can figure out that it really might come up as an issue. With one parent's per se a witch and the other's not. Or even on certain pantheons, but it's just a lot easier to let the child choose. Give them all the information, educate them, even on Christianity, because it wouldn't be fair to leave that out. You know, um, there's many different paths, and they need to be able to make their own decision, because they're the ones that are going to have to live that way pretty much the rest of their life, or not. So that's my opinion on it. Some people may not accept that opinion, but that's okay. That's mine. And as far as they had mentioned something about discipline, and I'm not even gonna go into that, because well, to me, it really doesn't have anything to do with the craft, how you discipline your children. And I'm not a family guidance counselor. So you know, you can just use your common sense on that one. Wouldn't it be cute, though, to say, okay, you have this little girl running around with her little wand, and you could say, all right, now if you don't behave, I'm going to take your wand away. You're going to be grounded from your wand. Oh, I could see me doing that, though. Now, when my children were small, that no one ever knew that I was a witch, because I just didn't want to deal with my grandmother, as I have told y'all before, and even some of my aunts. I didn't want to hear it. I'd heard it my whole life, and I already knew what they think and say about it. So I just never, you know, introduced my kids to the craft. Although my daughter, she definitely has little, she sees things here and there and has prophetic dreams. And when she starts asking me about them, or had when she started asking me about them, I did explain to her, well, your mama's a witch. There's no telling what you're going to see or feel. So, and my son pretty much just, he don't believe in anything, pretty much. So, yeah, that is something that, first of all, seriously, when you have a partner and y'all know that you're going to have a family together, these are the sort of things that you need to discuss before you even get married. Okay. And I know some people say, well, it'll be fine. It'll be fine. You know, we can do this, we can do that. And then you get in the marriage and you have this first child, and it may have been a couple of years that y'all have been married. Well, other influences have come in, probably the mother and father-in-law, you know, brothers and sisters, aunts and uncles, so-and-so, have all come in by then and kind of put in their 2 cents. It can get really confusing, but in the long run, you are the parent and you have to do what's best for that child. And I absolutely don't believe in pushing any religion down anyone's throat, much less your own child. They have the right to their own choice. And if you make them do something, first of all, you're going to make them miserable. They're going to feel, you know, if that's not what's for them, they're going to feel out of place. They're going to have too many questions that can't get answered, because, you know, usually the parent will just shrug them off. It's, well, that's just, you know, what it says to do. That's why we do it, you know, because these kids are asking all these questions, and parents need to be able to answer them. They need to dignify their child with an answer. You know, if the child's thinking about it enough to ask, then it's a parent's job to answer it to the best of their ability. And if they can't, find people to help you. You know, well, my child asked me this. What should I say, or what should I have said? Or, you know, we just have to realize we're shaping that life form, and they're going to grow up pretty much telling others what to do, because that's how they were told. So they need to, you know, if they're old enough to make their own choices, which, you know, I remember by the age of 10, I knew exactly what I was doing. I knew if I was doing wrong or right. You know, a lot of it's just bred into us. Some of it don't even have to be taught. And it's not that as I have said before, my grandmother was um, an extreme Christian. I mean, she wasn't one of those that got on your nerves, and she didn't preach at you all the time, and all that, as I have said before. But she did live that life, and you just knew by the way she acted and how she lived that she was uh, on that path. Um, Now, witchcraft would have definitely been off the books with her. I mean, no way. um, that's just how she believed. So, as I've said, I never brought it around her out of respect, not because of, and I went to church. I was raised in church. And it's not that I had anything against the church. Personally, I did not. It was, I just did not feel that that's all there was to it. Um, at a very young age, I knew this. I just, it's like that can't be all there is to it. That is not all there is to it. This is bigger than this, and so I started figuring myself out. And that's when I realized I don't even know, like I said, that I had ever heard the word witch. I mean, of course, I watch cartoons, The Wizard of Oz, Snow White, blah, blah, blah. Um, all those, but it never actually connected until one day. It was literally, you want to talk about it, an awakening. I just woke up and poof, I realized, oh wow, I'm a witch. This is why I have these feelings. This is why I do the things I do. This is why I have these dreams. I'm not crazy. I'm a witch. And if your child comes up to you, which I'm sure if you're watching my channel, you're probably a witch yourself or very curious, but or of some sort of path other than Christianity. But if your child comes up to you and says, you know, hey, I'm feeling this and that, and I talked to my cat today, or I talked to this flower, believe that they did that. Don't say, oh, you did not. Don't be stupid. That flower can't talk to you. First of all, you're crushing their dreams, even if they're just pretending. You're crushing their dreams. Let them be children. If your child comes to you saying something like that, then you should be aware that there may be something else going on. That this child is actually um, a different type of child, and start watching them, see what they do. But don't ever cut them down for it. Don't say, well, you're not supposed to do that and you're going to go to hell if you don't. You're scaring them into being something or somebody that they wouldn't necessarily be by their own choice. And to me, that's taking away their choice, their life, and that's not right. So they should be given the opportunity to make their own decisions when they get old enough. And they may do several things before they figure out which one's the right one for them. Not the right one that's for society or that's accepted by society, the right one that is for them. That way they can live a healthy, happy, and prosperous life and be content with their own decision making. A big part of being an adult is being able to make your own decisions, and hopefully you're making the right ones. Religion, spirituality is all a choice that should not be made, to take a certain path. Did that make sense? They shouldn't be bullied into thinking that they have to go on this path or their parents are going to disown them. And I've known several parents that have actually done that well, if you don't go to church, you're this and that, and you can just get out of our house. Well, that's not acceptable. Why would you even do that to your child? You're the parent. If they don't have you, who do they have? Um, you have a lot of influence on what they do with the rest of their adulthood. So what you do in their formative years is very, very important. And I'm no counselor. It just doesn't take Einstein to know that, to figure that out. I don't need a big book to explain that to me. And I don't have to go to 8 years of college to know that. It's just common sense. And I refer back to when I was a child and how I felt. Um, and it's not at all, like I said, that I didn't like the church. I felt very welcome there. My grandma's church was awesome. I just felt like there was something else, that's not where I necessarily belonged. And I eventually found out why. And every child ought to be able to be able to make their own decisions and have the opportunity to try out different things and see which one fits them. Now, if you're a witch, a natural born witch, you're probably going to know from the time you can realize what's going on that that's what you are. The ones that just have to decide, they know they're Christian, but are they Pentecostal? Are they Assembly of God? Are they Catholic? Are they Church of Christ? Are they Methodist? Those are little petty details. In the long run, they're Christians. Just like in witchcraft, some of us are Wiccan, some of us follow the left-hand path, some of us are hedge and herbal and so on witches. As I was eclectic, we call ourselves many things, and in the long run, we're witches. So that's what matters. But anyway, I hope that answers your question. And as far as the partners, as I said, you're just going to have to make that call on your own. Very much so. Do you need to discuss that before you go into a relationship? I know all kinds of witches that hide things from their spouse, and that's their business. That's what they're doing. But I don't think they're being very fair to themselves and their spiritual path. It's not fair to have to hide yours for someone else. I just would never do it. And for no man, for no reason. I am who I am, and no one's going to make me feel bad about that. If I ever chose to leave this path, it would be on my own recognizances, not because I was influenced in any way by especially a man. So, but also I wanted to add that this could be the reason that a lot of witches, especially in their crone stage, are by themselves. Okay. They just have other things to do than deal with the opposite sex. And there may be men out there that feel the same way, when they get in their crone stage. I don't need no damn woman. They're nothing but trouble. I'll just stick to my herbs and my stuff, and I'll be happy. That's sufficient for them, and that's fine. Most of us would like to have a partner, somebody to walk through life with and do things with, and have that bond with. But you just have to make that choice. Everybody has their choice. Like, do I stay on my path and forsake all others? Pardon that pun. I just had to throw that in there. Or do I meet somebody that's of the same path as me, or at least, that's a witch, whatever path they might follow? Or just hide it, be in the closet, and rob myself of getting to live freely. You're a slave when you do that. I understand why women want to do that. But at the same time, I don't understand, because you're, like I said, you're robbing yourself of the opportunity to be your own person. You're living in your spouse's shadow, and that's no way to live. If you don't have the right to make your own decisions and choices in that relationship, then you're a slave. And that's just the way I look at it. And there's no way in living hell that anybody, especially a man, is going to tell me that I can't set up my altar, or I can't bring an offering to my goddess and sit there the whole time calling me crazy. And if you don't tear that down, I'm going to divorce you. Well, divorce on. See ya. Because I guarantee you that altar is probably going to do me way more good than you will. But I'm a bitter old crone too. So, I mean, there's many a times. And whenever I come on here and tell you all these things, it's because I've experienced them. I'm not just rattling shit off the top of my head. I have lived it. I have made mistakes. And I try really hard to share with people so they don't make the same ones. Now, I haven't ever been I wouldn't say, if people ask me, I don't just go out and say, I have a big t-shirt on that says, "Hey, I'm a witch." Although I might have one in there somewhere. I don't know. But it's not because I'm worried about it. It's just not something I go around announcing. Just like if I have an ingrown toenail, I don't go around going, "Hey, I have an ingrown toenail." Nobody cares. You see what I'm trying to get at? Just because we don't talk about it all the time doesn't mean that we're trying to hide it. So, I mean, it is what it is, and you have every right to make your own decisions in your own life. Even in a marriage, I mean, it's just, it makes me so sad to see women that feel suppressed in this day and age. That they're scared to death if they say anything to their husband about it, that he's going to leave them. Well, that's hogwash. And I know so many that do that. And I'm not trying to judge them. I just really wish that they would grasp who they are, be proud of it, be loud about it. I just don't like them having to hide. I still feel like, we're way out of the 17th, 18th centuries where witches definitely hid themselves. But we're beyond all that now. And the sisters before us went through, a lot for us to be able to sit here and make those decisions. So we should honor them by being proud of who we are. I don't care. I don't care who belittles me or tries to, or, tells me, I don't know how many times I've been told I was going to burn in hell. Okay. Yeah, I've been told that 1,000 times. When you get my age, you pretty much heard it all. I've been cussed out. I've been called everything in the book, but I honestly have not had one man in my life that made me choose between them and my craft ever. They just allowed me to be who I was. This is who I was when they met me, and I'm not going to change just because they put a ring on my finger or, put their shoes underneath my bed. That ain't going to happen. My path is way more important than any earthly relationship I will ever have. So that's my answer to that. And I hope I answered it correctly, or not correctly, but well enough that you can understand where I'm trying to come from. And I'm in no means cutting anyone down. I'm just simply giving my opinion. And for those of you that are in the closet, believe you me when I say I'm not trying to hurt your feelings. I'm just trying to get you to thinking, and I'm not trying to split up your families. I'm just saying it's not fair to you to hide yourself. Um, it's just not. I love my path. Um, I love being able to go to my altar. I love to be able to sit outside when it's nice and build my fire and just sit there and thank the goddess that I am so connected with things around me that when I have extremely bad days, I can go out there and ground and everything's okay. I can meditate, I can get in touch with my inner self and talk to my goddess. And it rejuvenates me, it comforts me, and I can go on. Um, so what anybody walking in another meat sack has to say about me is completely irrelevant to my life or my path or my spirituality. So that's my opinion on it. I'm going to go and I will talk to y'all later. Blessed be.